But I do partly kind of understand why that reaction occurred. And part of it is literally because I kind of was attacking people's identities. I was attacking that internalized constructed identity of the disorder. And when you attack an identity like that, you're bound to get an emotional response. And so that's what happened. But I wasn't, again, what was I not saying? What I was not saying was that the experience of having ADHD symptoms doesn't exist. That is definitely not what I was fucking saying. At all. That would be one of the most stupid things I've ever heard in my life. And I've heard very, very few people in life say something like that. It's not a very common perspective anymore. But again, what is this? Let's step back, because I think I've really made my points about mental health, in internalized identities, and so on. But let's kind of analyze what's happening with the Twitter mobs, because that's interesting to look at as well. What's really like happening there is that you have a lot of people who are traumatized by people who have said terrible shit, total bullshit, like your condition doesn't exist, your symptom, the way you feel, the way you experience reality is illegitimate. And then having a trauma response to my statement, hearing that in what I said, even though that's not what I was saying, and then attacking me accordingly. And so what that really is Twitter and the overall like online tech space, that arm of capitalism, taking advantage of people's traumas and turning them into a moralistic cancel mob who's there to divide the proletariat, to divide the working class. Fundamentally, what that social interaction is a neoliberal manipulation of people's emotions, and it's not good. That's why I try my hardest to stay away from that entire thing. Even though I do call people out, I do post and I disagree with people and I post my disagreements. I try my hardest to not do that thing and not do the moralistic cancel culture, whatever you want to call it, the hate mob, the social outrage machine. I try my hardest to not participate in those discourses because ultimately it serves capitalism. Ultimately, that's all you're doing. In addition to serving capitalism, all you're doing by calling me out is shutting me out of your little social clique, which isn't a revolutionary movement. It's literally just a social clique of people who have the same opinions, more or less. And then whenever there's divergence, you get cut out and they pounce on you like a bunch of white blood cells, trying to like eradicate the disease. And reinforcing the boundary that encloses your territorialized identity, which at the end of the day also serves capitalism. So I don't take part in that discourse, and I will be taking less and less part in all of that. because I would rather make these longer form, thoughtful, intellectual, sort of academically tinged pieces where I have actually more than like 240 characters to explain my positions. To this Twitter box where you can't communicate complex thinking. It's very hard to communicate complex thinking on Twitter, clearly. And there are a lot of people on there who are not using it to engage with ideas on a good faith basis. They're using it to call out the people that their mind brands as bad. And I'm not interested in that at all. I have zero interest in that mode of politics, quote unquote politics. Because at the end of the day, that's not a political mode of action. It's a cultural one. And it's a cultural one that doesn't have a lot of political weight or political effects behind it or sprouting from it. It's a very useless mode of action if you want to actually politically change the world. So there we go.